The Online Harms Act is enacted as follows. Definitions. Let's spend a little bit of time on definitions. The following definitions apply in this act. Child means a person who is under 18. So that's relevant when they talk about bullying. And we'll get to that a little bit later. Commission is the Digital Safety Commission. Content that foments hatred. This is very interesting to me. It means content that expresses detestation or vilification of an individual or a group of individuals on the basis of a prohibited ground of discrimination within the meaning of the Canadian Human Rights Act, and that given the context in which it is communicated, is likely to foment detestation or vilification of an individual or group of individuals on the basis of such a prohibited ground. Let me translate. So they're saying hatred means if you detest something. That's just sort of a thesaurus. Hatred, and I hate something, I detest something. Sort of the same thing. Vilify is to say, is a little more than hate. It's to say you're awful. I don't just hate you, I think you're evil. That's vilification and detestation, a little bit different. But content that foments hatred, that's such an important concept, because like when I was charged with hate speech for publishing the Danish cartoons of Mohammed, I didn't actually do anything. I didn't express hatred towards anyone. They didn't say I did. What they said I did is by publishing something, quote, likely to expose a person to hatred or contempt. So they said that by publishing those Danish cartoons of Mohammed, and why don't we throw them up on the screen while I'm talking? By publishing those Danish cartoons of Mohammed in a news article, I was likely to cause person A to hate person B. Didn't happen. They had no evidence of it happening. No one said it happened. No one was harmed. It didn't happen. It might possibly in the future happen, likely to expose a person to hatred or contempt. But it's not an actual harm. Not even a fake harm of you hurt my feelings. I was prosecuted for 900 days. You can go to Wikipedia and you'll find it there. I think they still have it. They may have taken it down now. Just go to Danish Cartoons Wiki and you should be able to find it. It wouldn't surprise me if it was taken down. 15 years ago, you were allowed to see that online. Yeah, there it is. Just click that. Yeah, they won't let you see a large copy of it. So this was a Danish cartoons of Mohammed. You can see some of them are very mild. Two of them are a little bit edgy. One looks like a turban is a bomb. That's in the top. And one is two women in a burqa and a guy with a sword. But the other ones are pretty friendly. That top left one there, it's the cartoonist drawing Mohammed. The middle left on the top one looks like a stylized Olympic logo or something. The one on the right, Mohammed looks sort of friendly. That one on the left middle there, it says, "Stop, stop, we've run out of virgins," a commentary on suicide bombers. You can see one that looks like a guy in the desert with a donkey, sort of like a illustrated Bible. The one on the bottom left there, that boy is named Mohammed, and he's basically saying something like, "I'm Mohammed, I'm a kid here in Denmark," or something. So that's it. These cartoons, they caused huge boycotts, riots around the world, hundreds of people killed in riots about these cartoons, people who had not even seen the cartoons. We did a news story about it. Simply doing a news story about that news event was deemed likely to expose a person to hatred or contempt. That is now criminalized. Content that foments hatred or might foment, it's likely to foment, show the law again, is likely to foment detestation. Do you see that likely to? Highlight that on the screen. Likely to. So it didn't happen yet. Might not happen. If it happens, no one was stabbed, no one was punched, they just had hard feelings, that's now a crime. That's what content that foments hatred means. You didn't have to hurt anyone. You didn't have to damage anyone. No one had to show that they lost $1 or lost a friend or had anything bad happen to them. It's just that they could have. It was likely to expose me to what? To hard feelings. That's now a crime. Let's keep trucking. Content that incites violence. Well, that's already against the criminal code. This is a distraction. Inciting violence is against the criminal code. It has been ever since we've had a criminal code. Let's keep going. Content that incites violence, extremism, or terrorism. Keep scrolling down. That's against the law right now. That's not new. That's just in there to distract you. Content that induces a child to harm themselves. Well, this is interesting because remember we just read the definition of a child, anyone under 18. So what does this mean? Content that advocates self-harm. Does that include cutting off, God forbid, your breasts as a girl or your penis if you're a boy? That's what they're talking about with the transgender surgery. Child was defined as anyone under 18. And this says content that induces a child to harm themselves, meaning content that advocates self-harm, disordered eating, or dying by suicide, or that counsels a person to commit or engage in any of these acts. I would put it to you that it's self-harm to chop up children in the transgender, gender-affirming surgery. Is that a crime? Yeah, I don't think so. I think Trudeau will use this, as Levant says. This will be applied against whoever the government wants to. Content that sexually victimizes a child or re-victimizes a survivor. Obviously, everyone agrees with this. Much of this is already in the law, and if we need to update the law, so be it. But that's not the purpose of this law. That's not the new offices. That's not the new hunter-killer commissioners. That's not the $20,000 bounty for having your feelings hurt. This is the window dressing that they want you to focus on. Content used to bully a child. Again, a child could be 17 and a half years old. Means content or an aggregate of content that, given the context in which is communicated, could cause serious harm to a child's physical or mental health. What does that mean? What does the word bully mean? I mean, I suppose we know it when we see it. To criminalize bullying for someone who's 17 years and 10 months old, basically an adult. You can criminalize communicated content if it could cause serious harm to a person's mental health. This is threatening to criminalize social interactions that might include just harsh banter, hazing in a friendly way, theoretically even harsh criticism from a family member or from a teacher or anything. Well, I mean, the word bully is so vague. In fact, I don't think the word bully itself, the word bully itself is not actually defined in this law.